I was so depressed that I wanted to die. My dream is dead.
This is Taylor Draper. Without a father to show him his inherent worth, he learned to build it himself.
The only way I would receive that love, and that just programmed me for the rest of my life. The only way you can get love is if you're doing something or you're building something or creating something. And that is not the case because all of us, and that guy too.
Edgar.
And Edgar too. All of us right now in this moment are enough. We don't need to prove anything to be loved. We don't need to have our shit together. We don't need to be anything more than what we are in this moment to be loved. We had an LOI signed for $20 million. Inheritance was going to be every major city. It was going to be a huge life change, And it never came. Just wow. So if you can't do your work, you'd rather just be dead. I was like,
All right, folks. So we want to take a quick minute to introduce our diamond sponsor, Chris Seegers with Exceptional Business Advisors. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business, sir?
Man, a question that we love to ask our potential clients is, do you know what your business is worth? And if you sold your business today, would it fulfill your personal and financial goals? If you're a successful business owner, but you don't know when or how to sell your business, and if you've ever wondered what each additional day in your business is actually costing you, we'd love to chat. If you're ready to spend more time with your family, your friends, or traveling, come sit down with our team, because when you work with exceptional business advisors, we'll help you build a blueprint to sell your business successfully and help you create, capture, and achieve your dream life. Don't wait for the right time. The time's now. Go ahead and scan the QR code or book a discovery appointment at excoadvisors.com.
Now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the #1 podcast in Colorado Springs.
Today's sponsor is Be Our Guest Getaways, AJ Matthews, who we actually had a good conversation with today with his class. If you remember,
I forgot.
Teaching his class because he teaches a class locally here about podcasting, and he had Andrew and myself on talking about how we got started and some tips. So it was pretty cool.
Pretty fun. AJ's is the man. Check him out at beourguestgetaways.com, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. And he helps with Disney cruises and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is like a booking agent. So if you have any travel or anything like that, he's your guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, today we have an amazing guest. I've actually known you in the community for a while. I've actually filmed you before and you didn't even know it.
whoa.
Legally.
Okay. You were on stage.
Thanks for that caveat. I was on stage? Sweet. What was I doing?
Yeah, it was at Community and Cocktails, actually, with Tiffany and Nikki. They had Jonathan was there, and it was at 3E's.
Oh, man. Yes. That was a while ago.
Yeah, a few years ago. So we have Taylor Draper on with Inherent Self. Yeah, man. So how's everything doing, man? And how's business?
Oh, man. Business is good. I mean, we are launching Inherent Self officially. We got our nonprofit EIN, which I'm sure, as you guys know, takes a long, long time. So we are officially, it does.
Okay, I was like, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's not like you can just open an LLC and you do it like in minutes. It's
minutes. Yeah, seconds.
Yeah, it's it takes, sometimes it can take up to a year or more, which has been the case with us. So we finally got that. And so we're doing our official launch event in October 30th.
October 30th. Nice.
Yeah.
So what is Inherent Self?
Yeah. So Inherent Self is it's a lifestyle movement for men's mental health. So we promote things like community building, brotherhood, mentorship, basically all the things that I didn't have growing up. And that's kind of why I created it is I grew up without a father and I grew up without any siblings. I'm an only child. So having a place where we can get together and talk about deep and am I allowed to cuss on here? Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, not in the first 7 minutes. I'll bleep that.
Okay, not in the first 7 minutes. Yeah. Got it. Sorry about that. Let's start the timer and good to go. Yeah, so it's all about just like community building and brotherhood and mentorship, fatherhood, coaching. It's about getting guys resources to anything that they might need, because all of us are going through something. Men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. One man dies by suicide 1 minute of every day. And it's mostly guys in like managerial entrepreneurs, like professional type positions. It's not like a homeless epidemic. It's more of like just your every man, you know. The pressure gets to them, the provisions that they have to do get to them, the stress from work gets to them. And what we've kind of found is a lot of our community, their mental health is directly tied with their work a lot of times. So if their work is going bad, they want to throw the toaster in the tub, like something like that. If work is going horribly, then their life is going horribly. Like their relationships suffer, their partnerships suffer, their kids suffer. Like they don't get enough time with them and things like that. So it's a place to bring people together, bring guys together, and kind of organically and through osmosis, kind of expose them to these deeper levels of help. Like a lot of times, and a lot of studies prove that when you just talk about your issues, it makes you feel better. And so we just kind of give guys the platform and the safe space to be able to do those kind of things with like-minded individuals. So our programs, we have 4 programs. We have 2 monthly. One of them is called the Inherent Gentleman Society. It's through an invite only, but if you just want to show up, that's fine too. But it's the 3rd Thursday of every month. And we basically bring in a community leader, speaker to come in, and they kind of tell, very similar to this platform, it feels like, but they kind of just tell their story. They kind of give advice, but mostly you get access to the speaker, whereas you wouldn't before. So for example, we had like the CEO of Diversis come and speak. We've had like Ian McHale come speak. A lot of really great people who normally you wouldn't be able to just ask questions to, like, and hear their story, and they have amazing stories. So telling them the stories, and then our community can be like, I'm going through this personally, or I'm going through this in business. Like, could you give me some advice on this, and actually like get that kind of time with them. Sponsored by District 11. So thanks, Mikey, to that event.
The school or the restaurant or the bar?
The bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the school district? Okay.
not the school district, no. Yeah, we always have craft cocktails there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's so that's the Inherent Gentleman Society. I would kind of classify that as the like more sophisticated kind of networking thing. Like there's so many great people there. So it's great for business. Like a lot of guys have done deals through people that they've met in IGS, Inherent Gentleman Society. They've made a lot of friends. Like they've gotten stuff out of it. We've laughed, we've cried, all that good stuff. Like it's about showing men that vulnerability is strength, and that all of us, no matter how successful you might perceive this person, has gone through the ringer too, you know, and most likely has been where you are at. So giving access to that. And then another program which we're launching in November, and Terry Josiah is the chair committee leader for that one, and he's doing it. It's called the Inherent Wellness Exchange. It's going to be open to community, men, women. It's going to have like music. It's going to have some kind of art. It's going to have a nonprofit partner to come speak about something specific. So that one's going to be really cool too. And that one's the first Wednesday of every month. And then the other 2 programs we have a leadership program. So it's kind of like an entrepreneur book club, I'd say, but it's about getting, like, you have to be a business owner to be in this one, or at least like a really high level executive. We like focus on a book, and we like focus on issues in business and how all of us together can help solve each other's issues or talk through them with you. And then, you know, a little bit of the book stuff going on there. So that one's really cool too. That one's the Mindset Leadership Group. And the last one we do once a year, it's called the Inherent Strength Summit. So that one's a 3-day weekend where it's like no phones. We fly in speakers. It's we do workshops throughout the weekend. That one's pretty transformative too. So that's kind of what the brand is as a whole. You know, like the brand for me, I've grown up in marketing. I've been a brand consultant. I have a degree in design, clothing, and digital. And so like I wanted to create this brand that just made people gravitate to it. So it's like, oh, this is cool. Like I love these clothes, or I love the way that this brand is representing itself. I want to like see what they're about. And then once they're in the door, it's very much like a funnel system. Like the brand is like the top of the funnel.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they're in, they're like, okay, cool. Let's get involved in some of these programs. And then it's like, cool. And by the end of it, it's like their lives are transformed. They're a much healthier individual, which benefits the society and everyone as a whole.
We're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors.
HR Branches. Is your back office chaos? Are you buried in HR payroll and financial guesswork?
Your passion shouldn't be a prison. Savion HQ is your fractional back office partner. We merge HR, payroll, accounting, and tax to bring order to the chaos and make your passion profitable again.
Stop the bleed. Get your freedom back. Find us at savionhq.com or email at hello@savionhq.com.
Data Hubs is a compliance, intelligence, and orchestration platform that helps organizations meet the requirements of frameworks like ISO 27001, SOC2, CMMC, HIPAA, GDRP, and more.
Data Hubs gives small and mid-sized businesses a premium compliance experience while cutting down the time, cost, and stress it usually takes to get across the finish line. Learn more at datahubs.com. That's datahubz.com.
Reveal Med Spa. Look and feel your best at Reveal Med Spas. With personalized plans that deliver real results, radiant skin, restored confidence, and natural rejuvenation.
At Reveal Med Spa, we see you. More than just aesthetic and wellness treatments, we provide a safe, judgment-free space where you feel valued, heard, and supported.
Visit revealmedspas.com.
I think it is literally just that too. We'll just double check. Book your next session at revealmedspas.com. That's revealmedspas.com. Fast Signs. From banners to vehicle wraps, Fast Signs delivers custom visual solutions to help your business stand out. Their team ensures your message is clear, bold, and effective. Get your signage needed handled at fastsigns.com. That's fastsigns.com.
Dream Accounting Solutions. Take the stress out of managing your books with Dream Accounting Solutions. They provide reliable expert accounting services tailored to small businesses. Simplify your finances at dreamaccountingsolutions.com. That's dreamaccountingsolutions.com.
Exponential Impact. Exponential Impact is driving innovation and entrepreneurial success in Colorado Springs. Supporting startups with mentorship, funding, and community resources, they help businesses grow and thrive. Learn more about their impact at exponentialimpact.com. That's exponentialimpact.com.
And now let's get back to the show.
It's such a cool and robust system that you have. And I kind of want to dive into your background because it's a big part of like why you're doing what you're doing. So
Yeah.
I was lucky because I went to one of the IGSs where you were actually the speaker. And so that was my first one there. I got to, you're a friend already by that point and just kind of hear your story. I didn't know any of that really about you, but I think it's really important for our audience to like hear that story because it really is relatable to a lot of men specifically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, you kind of already touched on it, like grew up without like a father figure in your life, but like start wherever you want to start with your story. I think it's very powerful.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about turning trauma and trials into something that can help others. That's always been my baseline, I guess. But yeah, I grew up in Alaska. My mom was not around. She was a flight attendant for Alaska Airlines. So it was pretty much just me and babysitters, or me and my aunt, or me and my cousins, or whoever would have me, or friends, or whatever. So I kind of just grew up by myself. I don't know if she would like me saying this, of course, but I feel like I kind of just raised myself. I Googled everything since I could get my hands on a computer. Googled how to cook, Googled how to be social, all these kind of things.
You triggered my Google.
Triggered Google. Hey Google, how do you be social?
Don't say it again.
Should be off, man. This is a professional environment. Oh man. Yeah. So I was in Alaska until I was around 8 years old. And then I moved to Florida where my mom wanted to be a nurse. So we moved in with my grandma in Florida, and that was just the worst. Like we were in this place called Deltona, which a lot of people haven't even heard of, but it's a pretty rough place, pretty rough part of Florida. I was like jumped a lot by gangs, like in school. So I just stayed inside all the time. I was 315 pounds, because I just never went outside, just sat around, drank Yoo-hoos and ate Carmelos and all this kind of things and Mountain Dews and just video gamed. I would actually say I was probably one of the first, side note, I was actually like one of the first gamers that ever got paid to like play the games.
Nice.
So like,
What game was your
that was
game?
pretty cool. The one that I got paid for was Unreal Tournament 2003.
nice.
2003. Yeah. Yeah. So we joined a little clan, and yeah, anyways, that was fun. But yeah, so I would like play video games just all the time. Final Fantasy 11 was another one that I just poured a shit ton of time into. It's past 7 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poured a shit-
RPGs are really easy to really get sucked right into. Like,
Oh man, yeah, it was so much fun. But that's where I made like probably my first friends there, because I wouldn't talk to anybody like in real life. So my world was like very digital from childhood. Yeah, and so 320-pound kid, just depressed. I attempted suicide twice without anyone really knowing or telling anybody about it. My mom tried to put me into therapy, like after some poetry I wrote that I was actually like really proud of, and it got published. And then she read it and was like, "You're messed up, man. Like, you're a messed up kid." Because I think it was just like about some like murder or something like that. Because it just, it was creative. It was a creative exercise for me. But yeah, she got scared of the content of it and tried to put me in therapy. And then I didn't even give it a chance. I just kind of talked my way out of it until I got all the check marks, all the boxes checked. And yeah, just, a sad, lonely kid. I just had the glow of his computer screen every night, for comfort. And obviously that's not a healthy way to live your life, especially at that age, when you're missing out on all of the things like being social and having friends and maybe playing sports or whatever, anything outdoors. So all I had was I got really into music. So I was like a guitar player, singer, and then just played video games all day. And I would skip school, play music, like all that kind of stuff. And then when I was 16, we moved to Colorado, and that's when I decided to just be done with being depressed.
okay, hold on. From Alaska to Florida to Colorado, why are you going so crazy distances?
Yeah, that's a great question. Not in the military. I think it was just my grandma lived in Florida, and we were we were in Alaska. And then when we moved to Colorado, it was because like parts of my family, I don't have a very big family, but parts of my family were kind of congregating here. Like my aunts and my cousins like kind of moved to Colorado. So my mom just decided to. That was probably the best move she made for my mental health, honestly. Because when I got here, I was like, this is a fresh start. I don't know anybody. I am so tired of being depressed. So I'm just going to decide to not be. Because I didn't know anything about mental health back then. At 16 years old, you don't. And I just, I heard the phrase fake it till you make it. And on the TV, there's this diet called Atkins that was just being blasted everywhere. So I Googled what it was and realized like, oh, it's just cutting out carbs, And so I just made myself a little workout or a little diet plan, and then decided to just pretend to be happy. And that kind of worked. Like I lost 120 pounds.
What does pretend to be happy look like?
That's a great question. Just basically be like how everyone else is that I'm interacting with at the time.
Okay.
So
It's like mimicking people around you essentially, and just kind of trying to fit in and kind of mimic their behaviors.
yes, exactly. Yep. Obviously it was a rocky start doing that, but it eventually worked. And by this time I was probably in college, and I was a really popular college kid. Like, those like varsity guys in high school that like everybody is around and everybody loves and like all that kind of stuff. That was me in college. Like,
Oh, nice.
coming into college, it was like I lost all the weight by that point. my band was pretty successful. Like we were touring around a lot. So it was just like, I was kind of
We'll
like,
put up a clip. You
put up a clip.
Young Taylor doing a thing.
Yeah. Man. So I was just getting all those experience in college that everyone else got, like middle school, high school era. So I was kind of like catching it. I was kind of like catching up in college at that point, I would say. But yeah, man. So like since then I went, from one side of the pendulum to the other side. And then by the time I was like 23, like I was sleeping around a lot, like doing some drugs, like touring around with the band, like all this kind of stuff, very, very cliche band things is what I was doing. And I just like kind of like realized one day I was, it's like, man, I am a dick. Like I do not like who I am. My heart really wants to like care for people, but like all these behaviors that I've assimilated from observations are not a conduit for that. They're not a conduit for being a kind, caring individual. And so once again, I just made the decision. I was like, I'm going to be who I want to be, and I'm going to be a kind and caring person. And again, that pendulum swung that way, and I just became like a doormat for a long time before I realized, I'm still learning how to advocate for myself and speak up and things like that. But yeah, and I just didn't have anyone in my life to like teach me these basic things, like how to be a good person, or like who to role model after, like I didn't have any kind of mentors. I didn't have anyone. I just had people my own age that were all doing the same shit I was doing. So yeah, when I made that kind of decision, just like most hard things, a lot of things fell apart. A lot of people left my life. New people came in. Jobs transitioned. I've always been like pretty good at like getting good jobs just because of my skills, because I was so good at a computer since age 12. Like I was making like Pokemon websites that were ranking like #1 on SEO and all this kind of stuff, like since I was a kid. So like I knew like marketing really well. So like fresh out of college, like 19, 20-year-old kid, I had like a $60,000 a year job, which, was 17 years ago. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And so it's just been ever since then, just that was the minimum at least, So it was like, I never had to worry about that kind of stuff. But I also didn't see anyone in my life that was like, oh, this guy, I really respect this guy. Like he's doing some really good things. Or like, oh, this is what kindness looks like. Oh, this is what caring for a person looks like. I had to kind of like figure that stuff out. And that's when, got married. That didn't work out. But the purpose of that marriage, I think, was to have my kids. I love my kids so much, and they're amazing little people. And I still have like a fine relationship, I think, with my ex. But, that was 10 years from when I was like 23 to like 32, 33, that I like put into that, and then just realized I just was not happy. And she was doing some things, I did some things, and we just kind of were like, this is not for us, like this, I think we're both just better off as co-parents. Like that was kind of the mutual respect, I believe, that both of us had. Was just like, she's an incredible mom, and I just love my kids, and I don't know what having a dad was like. So to me, just being there is probably better than than not being there. But yeah, man, I just realized like I was not happy, and I didn't really know what happiness was either. Because again, just I had nobody to model this after. Like every time I would like hitch my wagon to somebody, they would just fail hard. Like church community, fuck those guys. But church community, like military community, even like I tried to like find this like father type figure. I realized that's what it was. That's what I was looking for later through a lot of therapy. And just everyone fell short, and like nobody did it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to create this thing where one, it's like things that I want to do, like hang out, drink whiskey, wear great clothes, feel really confident in yourself.
Smell good. You smell good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So the viewers don't know, he smells good.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I wanted to like learn what being a gentleman was. And so that's why I created Inherent, is because there's a for-profit and non-profit component to it. The for-profit is fashion. It's like men's clothing done the right way, like handmade, hand sewn, measuring, cut, good materials, like all these things that I think a lot of guys have kind of forgotten about. Or like, oh, this is comfortable because it's stretchy or whatever. It's like, there's actually like a really amazing history behind menswear, and like it goes directly into mental health. Back in like the 40s and 50s, dads or father figures or whatever would bring their sons into like a tailor and say, this is your tailor. This is how you dress. These are the patterns that go with your body type. These are the colors that go with your skin tone. These kind of things that nobody really talks about anymore. And, from a marketing perspective, what I realized is there's actually just not a lot of exposure on that kind of stuff anymore. Whereas with women, it's the opposite. That's like primarily what it is. And so I kind of found this little niche where I was like, man, I love design. I love making things beautiful. I really believe that's like part of my purpose here, is to just create really cool shit and build this community as well. Like build this community where I can find like, where brothers can be mentors, where like I can get advice from people, and as well, everyone else can benefit from that too, So that was kind of where the idea for Inherent sparked, because I was like, I really want to create this company that really focuses on this old way of doing clothes and this design and like just the aesthetic of like what being a gentleman is. Cause that was my journey. I was like, what does it mean to actually be a gentleman? It really means to like be kind, to know yourself, to be familiar with your body, to know what's going on when you're going through shit, and like where I feel my chest really tight. I must be anxiety, or, whatever it might be. Like, being able to recognize those things to me is like part of being a gentleman. And one of the questions I get a lot of times is just like, what's the difference between being worldly and being a man of the world, right? Like, because you have these things, right, that might look like privilege, or they might look like something, like something else, where it's like, bigotry or something. I don't know, but it's like I've had this kid come up and be like, I really love whiskey. Is it okay like to like actually like whiskey and like go after this, this thing
Because
I
it's
like?
toxic.
Because it's just like, because like it might be viewed as toxic, or might be viewed as like I'm better or whatever, like, whatever kind of PC kind of magnifying glass you might be able to put over that. And it's
For
like,
sure.
no, like if you like it, go for it, man. Like try it, like learn the history. Like, I'm a huge history person. Like I know all the histories of all these different distilleries, anyways, all these kind of things. But it's just like, no, like that's the difference between worldly, because you're not like acquiring the Ferrari, you're not acquiring the $1,000 bottle of scotch, you're not acquiring the Rolex because you want the status. You're doing these things because you genuinely like them. And I think there's a really fine line with that. And like I had to myself like realize that, because I was like, why do I like all these nice things? Is it because I want someone to think something about me, or is it just because I genuinely like it, And so I think there's some things you could probably shave off. You could be like, oh, that one's not, that one is for a bad reason, or not, So my answer to the kid was basically just like, if this is something you genuinely love, and you love sitting down and having whiskey and talking with your friends, like that is a form of healing, and you should absolutely get into it. And if you like really like the whiskey and you like the taste of it, then learn more about it. Like learn the history of that distillery that you like, or learn the difference between Scotch, Irish, Canadian, Japanese, all these kind of things. They all make it different. They all have different things and components about them that make the taste different. So like, are you interested in that? Like, if so,
I think Marcus knows all of the differences.
Oh yeah, I grew up. My mom was in Kentucky, in Lexington, so right next to the Bourbon Trail. And when I did drink, bourbon was my thing. I mean, I have a huge bourbon bar still at my house, which is funny because I don't drink anymore.
2 years almost.
Yeah, 2 years.
Man.
Actually, to the day almost of no drinking. And
congratulations.
But what I will say is like one of my favorite pastimes, and why it made it so hard was I loved
sharing bourbon with a friend and like
Yes.
just sharing them like with a special bottle that I knew where it came from. And
Mhm.
like I would do that with them all the time when they come over, like, man, this is from whatever, Versailles in Kentucky. And this came from, you know, whatever, this distillery or whatever it might be, Woodford Reserve in Versailles, you
Yeah.
know? And so like I always talked about that, and like manhood is part of that, right? Like you're talking about superficial pieces, which is like essentially to me defined as like impressing other people around you. You're buying something to impress those around you. But
Yeah.
versus like what you're talking about, the things that you love on the other side of the spectrum is like, no, I'm not buying this bourbon to impress anybody. I'm doing it because I genuinely love this. And I'm like, I'm leaning into my masculinity and sharing this with other men. It's like sharing a good cigar. It's like, yeah, I can get a great, awesome cigar, but like, you actually love it, or are you trying to impress people and you're like coughing to the side because you don't know how to smoke a cigar, you know? So
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's been a big recurring theme that I've been hearing from your life is like you kind of didn't know any of it, and then you kind of leaned into like the superficial parts, maybe perhaps in certain parts of your life.
Yeah.
And then you finally made that like transition of wisdom of like, okay, now I understand this is the stuff I actually want to do. This is the shit that I actually am interested in. And you're kind of hitting that point, which is amazing. And I'll note this too, just because I've been listening to what you're talking about. My grandfather, who was like my biggest hero in the world, never had a father figure in his life. He was married. He was raised by his mom and his aunts. Never had a father figure.
Yep. Same.
Best male role model of my life. And
Wow.
we don't know why. It's just he just
Mhm.
was, because he didn't know necessarily what it was to be a good male
Mhm.
figure, but he knew what it wasn't.
A lot of
Yes,
your siblings
yeah.
too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everyone. Yeah. Yeah. Your mom, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like a lot of people like under that lineage from him, I mean, are just like these people because of him, and it wasn't because he knew. He just knew what it wasn't. And so
Yeah,
it's
that's
so cool to
amazing.
see this with you, and like, you know, you weren't even necessarily like finding that role model, but you're like, okay, like this is something that I feel like it should be, and let me like see who comes around that fire that I build. And so like I want to talk about that too, because I feel like now, because you've talked about like there wasn't those male role models, they weren't there. But now I feel like you have surrounded yourself with some really, really strong men in your life who are like colleagues, who are friends, who are confidants. Talk about that too as well.
Yeah, I am really grateful for the people that I have around my life now, but they didn't show up until I kind of like realized, like it's kind of like manifestation, I guess. It's like when you let it go is when it comes, kind of thing. So when I was finally just like at the point where I was like, I'm just going to let this go, because maybe my path is just that I need to just be my own person, and if people want to like get into what I'm into, then that's amazing. If it can help somebody else, if my story can help somebody else, then that's all that really matters. Once I kind of like made that decision is when I kind of got this really amazing group of friends and colleagues around. Like my buddy Jonathan Liebert, he's a really good buddy of mine. We've been really good friends for probably 4 years now. But yeah, he inspires me. He has a lot of amazing things that he's doing in the community. His priorities are straight with what he's going for. Inherent itself, like after I started that, I've met so many of my friends through that now. You know, it's opened so many doors for friendships, and a brother can be a mentor at any point. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be like someone that's logistically older than you and things like that. Like anyone can be a father figure. Anyone can be a brother, Another really good buddy is Aaron Uden, who you guys had on the podcast. He and I have been really good buddies for a while, and I've learned what friendship actually means from him. Like he really like came beside me in a tough time and like took care of me, and really helped me kind of like get through that. And Ian Lee, who's another guy you should probably have on your podcast at some point.
Oh yeah, I used to get coffee with him like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's another one of my guys in the close circle. But yeah, I have a lot, and I'm so grateful for that. And it's because of when I stopped trying to just put things in and just started to try and push things out, if that makes sense. When I stopped trying to just like pull in things for me and started to just push things out, like value to everyone else, is when that shift really, really happened. When I found those people.
We'd like to take a quick break and thank our sponsors.
Junkin' Hall.
Need to clear out clutter fast?
Junkin Hall is Colorado Springs' go-to for same-day junk removal.
With the eco-friendly service and a 5-star team you can trust.
Visit junkinhall.com to schedule your free estimate today. That's JUNKNHAUL.com.
Bolton Co. Executive Coaching.
Up feels better than stuck. You know that. But in this market, how do you get unstuck and get ahead as an executive?
Our guy JB is an executive coach at Bolton Co. Coaching, where he believes you don't have to change who you are. You just need an injection of effectiveness and a proven competitive edge roadmap for your way up. Head to boltonco.net. That's boltonco.net.
Mm-hmm.
Be Our Guest Getaways. Be Our Guest Getaways specializes in Disney cruise resort and theme park vacations.
Planning a Disney vacation can be stressful. Let Be Our Guest Getaways provide you with concierge-level service for free.
Learn more at beourguestgetaways.com. That's beourguestgetaways.com.
Planet Duct. Planet Duct is the #1 choice for professional air duct cleaning in Colorado Springs and Southern Colorado. With state-of-the-art equipment and top-tier service, they make sure the air in your home or business is clean and allergen-free. Breathe easier with Planet Duct. Learn more at planetduct.com.
Awesome Home Services. Awesome Home Services delivers top-notch HVAC solutions for your home. Whether you need heating, cooling, or system maintenance, they ensure your comfort year-round. Visit awesomeservice.com for your HVAC needs. That's awesomeservice.com.
Proud American Electrical and Solar.
Give Proud American Electrical and Solar a call today for all your electrical and solar needs. They are locally owned and operated business right here in Colorado Springs. If you're looking for information on solar, this is the company you will want to call. Check out their website at proudamericανsolar.com. Use promo code COSBusiness for a 5% discount today.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care offers affordable, accessible healthcare with a focus on you. They provide exceptional primary care without the hassle of insurance barriers. Experience a patient-centered approach. Learn more at pinnacleapc.com.
And now let's get back to the show.
It's interesting because it's like when you're building something special like you're doing, you like cast this huge net or this huge vision, and it's so big that other people can come and play in. And that's kind of what it's done. Like it's attracted these people because it's your vision and they can see themselves in that vision because it's such a big vision. They can go and play in it with you as well. And so you're drawing all these people who are like, I mean, these are some serious like heavy hitters in the community. Like there's no other way to put it. And I can see, you know, that whole circling of the wagons for yourself with like finally getting that corner that's there for you. And like, what does that mean for you? Like you're talking about with like Aaron just being there when you needed somebody. Like I know what it means to me. Like when I've been in some horrible, hard times in life, personal, financial, business, whatever it might be. And like those who came to my aid during those times, whether we're friends or not anymore, it doesn't matter. I'll always will have love for them because of that situation.
Right.
So talk about that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like it's not something I think I realized in the moment. Like it was more like after I kind of reflected, I was like, oh man, like that was, yeah, if he wouldn't have been there for that and like fucking drug me out of the bar after I was there for like 4 hours, like, man, like I don't know what would have happened that day. Or like during my divorce, like I basically lived with Jonathan for a couple months, you know, like if I wouldn't have had a home to go to during that, you know, that separation time, I don't know what life would have been like. But when you're in it, I just felt grateful. You know, I was just like, thank you for being there. You kind of have to put your shame down a bit because like with most men, when you're going through those kind of times, you just put so much pressure on yourself. Usually, I don't know if you guys do this, but like for me, I just put so much pressure on myself. I'm just like, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. Like, why did I do it this way? Why did I make that decision? You know, instead of just being grateful and recognizing this is an opportunity to learn and grow, of course, you know, I think that's the standard saying for those kind of things, but also just like an opportunity to be loved, like on a deeper level. Like when Aaron came beside me and helped me out with my stuff, and when Jonathan did the same thing, and Ian and all those guys, it was what I had to realize was I would like be apologizing to them and be like, I'm sorry, I'm like this. I'm sorry you're having to take care of me in this moment or like whatever. But what I realize is they're happy to do it, just like I would be happy to do it for them, because it's an opportunity for love. You know, it's an opportunity to show someone how much you love them. It's an opportunity for you to receive that love as well. And that was the hardest thing for me to kind of get to, because, you know, I just had to figure everything out by myself. And so the fact that I couldn't figure these big things out in these moments was hard. It was a hard thing to do, because you just really don't know. You're like, how am I going to make payroll for this? I have no fucking idea. Like, how am I going to pull myself out of this depression? Like, I can't see a way out of it right now. And just feeling that love for the people that wanted to help you, you know, was really hard for me for whatever reason. I don't know, but it was really hard for me to just be like, are you sure you love, like, are you sure you want to help me? Like, me? I'm not deserving of this, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm very similar in a lot of ways. One of the first big gigs that I did here, like video production, like I would just, or just any gig, I would always feel weird when like a random person that was a client of mine even was just like, oh my God, just showing all this love and like just pouring this love towards me. And it just almost made me suspicious, you know? Like,
Yeah.
And so it's like, I kind of have a knee-jerk reaction to that. I think maybe it's my upbringing as well, but yeah. So I definitely relate to that.
Yeah, totally. All right. How's that going with you?
I don't know.
When's the last time you've checked in, man?
It's been a while. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really. Like, what is? I don't even know how to answer that question. How can I answer that question?
Like, has there been a time recently, like, where you've just kind of like shoved off a compliment or like shoved off some love?
Just a month ago, someone said we were chilling. We were at the Antlers. It was after an event, and someone said I was just talking about all this really cool like stuff I'm building, and they were like, you're really smart. And then I was like, I wanted to explain. I wanted to prove why what I said was smart, and I kind of just brushed off what they said, and he pointed it out. He was like, oh, so you're just going to brush it off. And I was like, oh, I immediately felt bad. And I was immediately like, no, I love that. I didn't mean to not receive that. I meant, I really did like that. Like, I just didn't receive it well. So yeah, that just happened like a month ago.
Hey, well, It sounds like you already know what you're working on, man. That's great.
I guess I'm working on it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
No,
yeah.
Thank you for asking that. Yeah.
No, of course. Yeah. Like being able to just stop for a second, like if somebody compliments you and say, hey man, I love your hat, you know, love your shirt, like whatever. And you're like, oh man, it's nothing. I just got this on sale, like whatever. You kind of like almost physically like brush it off sometimes, or you like you make yourself smaller, like physically, like notice that stuff in your body, like when that happens, you know? And if you're doing that, just be like, no, like take a second. For me, like what I do is I usually just like in the moment, and this might sound weird if you like explain it logistically, but like it doesn't look weird in a conversation. But if like Marcus was like, dude, I really love that jacket, I'd be like, man, thank you. And like close my eyes for like half a second, and just really try and like feel that, you know, and just
I noticed that when I said that, when I talked about your smell. Yeah, I literally noticed it. Yeah, you had that. Yeah, you had that same reaction that you were just describing. Cut to clip. Cut
to clip. Me closing my eyes. Yeah. It's because I had to train myself, because I was like that. Like anytime anyone would compliment me, I'd be in the position of being like undeserving, or like, you know, which I think is very common. And for a lot of people, it's just like, no, I don't deserve your praise, or like, I don't deserve, again, like what we're just talking about, I don't deserve your love, or like, I don't deserve this. Like, I'm not doing well right now, you know? Like with Ian, especially like I've looked up to him for so long with Lee Spirits and like his other ventures that he's been doing. And like, anytime I talk to him, I'd be like, man, I really have to make sure my shit's together, because he is so fucking smart and just like on it and just sharp. And like, what I realized with him is like when I finally let that go, again, theme, letting it go. When I finally just let that go, I was like, you know what, dude, like I'm struggling. Like I'm not making very much money. Like I'm not doing very good. That's when he's like, let me help. Like, you know, gave me a hug. Like, he's like, it's okay. We can figure this out, you know, and like sat down and like would follow up. Like, how are you doing today? You know, I was like, man, I guess I don't have to be perfect all the time, or I don't have to be successful to like receive this stuff, which is, you know, just a theme in my life. Anytime with my mom, for example, I don't know how deep into therapy we want to get here, but like anytime to like get her attention, because she was, you know, pretty absent, and then when she was there, she was pretty tired. So it's like anytime I would want to get her attention and be like, hey, look at this thing that I made. Look at this thing that I built. Look at this thing that I did. And that's the only way I would like receive that love. And that just programmed me for the rest of my life to be like, the only way you can get love is if you're doing something or you're building something or creating something. And that is not the case, because all of us, and that guy too.
Edgar.
And Edgar too. I almost called him Gregor because it's just the liquor store. But shout out to Gregor at the liquor store. But yeah, all of us right now in this moment are enough. And like, we're enough to be loved. And we don't need to prove anything to be loved. We don't need to be billionaires. We don't need to be millionaires. We don't need to have our shit together. We don't need to be anything more than what we are in this moment to be loved and deserving of love. Just being here means that we're deserving of love,
That's a great point. I kind of want to hammer on that word. I actually wrote down love, because I think that's a hard thing for a young man to experience with other men. I mean, obviously not romantically, unless it is, but like having like brothers that you love. Like I love Andrew. He's like a brother to me. And I got to experience that very young because my best friend was in the Marines, and like he'd go in deployments and like we'd say, hey dude, I love you. And like we were very young when we were doing that. He ended up taking his life 9 years ago. And thank goodness like that we had that relationship. He was the first guy other than my dad that I ever said, or my grandpa other than them, that I said, I love you too. And it means a lot to like have that love for other people. Do you have that in your life? And if you do, like, let's unpack that a little bit for you. Like, it's hard to define from one man to another, right? Like, it's an interesting thing. So I just kind of want to talk about that with you and the dynamic of love with people that, you care about, who are like your brothers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I say that to everybody whenever I leave them, Like I've had 3 of my friends pass away at this point that were really, really close to me. Yeah, very similar story, but yeah, I always make sure that I tell them how much I love them whenever we hang out. Even just like, I love you, man. Or I'll just send a text, just be like, hey bro, thinking about you, love you, hope you're doing okay today. That kind of stuff. Is your question more like, is it hard as men to like show that type of affection towards other men?
Yeah, to like get to that, cross that bridge. It's not necessarily a cultural narrative for someone to say that to another man. I feel like it's coming more common, but not necessarily in our generation to kind of lead with that, say like, I love you, bro. Like that's a very intimate thing to say to somebody, and maybe not used for every single buddy of yours, but like it's definitely for like the ones that you truly care about.
Yeah, totally. For me, it's always like been the truth. Like I'm a very transparent individual, clearly. I'm just spilling my guts on a random podcast, but
not just a random podcast.
The number one podcast in Colorado.
The number one podcast in Colorado. I'm so sorry. I meant no offense.
No, you're good.
But yeah, like like I'm a very transparent individual, and I think that really helps and really hurts sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I can overshare, and sometimes I can sometimes I have the tendency, which I'm really working on now, is like when I'm talking to people, I don't like go deep enough with them. Like I like if they're going deep in with me with their questions and things, like I don't reciprocate all the time. Because I need to like think about it cognizantly, and that's like tough for me sometimes to like think of those little things. But yeah, like I think that everyone, like if you love somebody, it doesn't have to be romantically. Like you can love that friendship. Like, do you love this friend? Yeah, absolutely. You should tell them. It doesn't make you less of a man. I think it makes you more of a man. Just like I think vulnerability makes you more of a man. Like tell your story, be vulnerable, cry if you need to. Like those are emotions that we have as human beings. So like, why would you shove those away, or why would you close the door on some of those just because of how it looks? It goes back to buying the Ferrari because you want the chicks, like that's a dumb reason to buy a Ferrari. You should buy a Ferrari because they're dope and they have a really cool history and they're really amazing. But it's that, again, it comes back to that separation. It's like, why are you doing what you're doing? Like, you should do that because you want to, and you should do that because you want to make that person feel good that you're expressing that feeling for.
That's a great point. Have you been able to have a conversation with your mom or whoever in your family, someone in your family, to kind of talk about it's one thing to look at things in your life and be like, oh, I'm a victim of these things. But it's another thing to look at it and be like, these things happened, and to change your life, which is what you're already in that phase of your life, which is amazing to see. But it's also circling the wagons of that situation. And many people, they do it in their own ways. But have you ever talked to your family directly about the situations and kind of reflect back with it? It doesn't necessarily have to be accusations, but just reflect on, how that made you feel in those times, and kind of talk through that with them.
Yeah, no one's ever asked me that. That's a really great question. I would say kind of. There's some things that I have just kind of given myself closure on, and I don't really need to do that in certain areas. But yeah, I've talked with my mom and let her know some things, and some of the things she agrees with, some of the things she disagrees with, and that's not for me to care about, honestly. What I care about is accepting that these things happen. Can I still have a relationship with her? Yes. So I'm going to, whether it's an 8-foot pool or a 4-foot pool, it just depends on the day, honestly. But yeah, I do think that that's a really important thing. But with certain, some people, it's that hurt is so deep, and that generational gap is so big. My mom had me really late in life. So she's I'm not saying she's older or anything, because I don't believe she is, but she's 70 something. But her upbringing and the way that she was raised is 1,000,000% different than mine. We grew up in almost completely different worlds and completely different Americas. And so I have to take that into account, because that's a gigantic factor in the way that I was hurt in some of my ways.
Holding some space for that with her.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I don't think, some of the things need to be discussed, because I have gotten to the place personally where I'm just you did what you could with what you had and the tools you had. I would have done it differently, but that's not the reality of what happened. And I can't fault you for using the tools that you had at that time, or that thing that happened. That's not for me to even judge. All I can say is this is how it made me feel, and this is the experience that I had. Whether you had a different experience for that moment is not on me. I don't need to hold any of that, That's your shit. I'm just letting you know how I felt and how I took that. And I think that's probably a better way to look at it than just being you did this to me, because that's victimhood, right? That's not holding space for anyone. And that's not even holding space for yourself. So yeah, I love that question, man. Thank you for asking that. That's really good. I do very heavily advocate, if you have something that happened, you should get closure, you should get closure for it. You should talk it through, but also just, I'll just say this, recognize what's yours to hold and what's not. I think that's a really important thing.
Unpack that a little bit more. What is yours to hold and what's not?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so that it's something that I see a lot in relationships. I feel the easiest example that I can give is if your spouse or partner has a really tough day or something, and they are being standoffish, or they're just kind of being cold, and you're oh, well, instead of you then feeling bad about that, that's not yours to hold, that's them. You can say, in those kind of moments, when that happens with my partner now, I'll say something okay, cool. Just give them, be do you need some space? Be no, don't need some space. Very full attitude. And then you can be okay, cool. What I personally usually do is wait until the next day or something and be hey, just so you know, it felt really cold when you said these things, and then give the, open the space for that conversation. But in the moment, that's not yours to hold, man. If someone's being cold to you, or someone's being kind of off or standoffish or mean, or whatever, like that's not on you. Like, unless you were mean to them first, of course. But you know, if you're just like, hey, how's it going? They're like, yeah, fuck you. Like that's, you know, that's not on you. So why care about it?
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point, especially for men, because like even myself, I find myself I'm very confrontational naturally. And so I've had to like learn that, because usually I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like with anybody, you know, like why are you acting like this? And that's my natural, and I've been able to get a lot better at it, but you're 100% right. Like it's not mine to hold in that moment. Like they're going through a different kind of day, a hard day, whatever it might be. And it's my, you know, as a good friend, it's my job to recognize that and be like, okay, like let's circle back when things are cooled off a little bit. Like cooler minds prevail, right? That's like the old saying. What a emotionally mature observation. That's impressive, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. I also wanted to note, you brought this up throughout the episode, and I think it's super important. I think it's one of the biggest, most mission critical things to tackle with men is their self-worth with their work. I am 100% of that person that has to, like, sometimes I have to get myself out of the weeds, because I'm just like you're talking about, the typical archetype of like my worth is measured by the successes I've had. I've done tiny house festivals, marketing, podcasts, like those are a big part of my identity. And it's very hard for me to disassociate from it and like stand alone as Marcus sometimes. How do we as men kind of, it'll always be a part of my identity. I'm not, you know, I understand that, but how do we disassociate from that being our whole identity?
That's a really great question, because that's something that took me years to get to, like, especially with Inherent. Like Inherent I was doing New York Fashion Week twice a year. I was doing, you know, all of these kind of things, like hanging out with celebrities, all these great things that the company like led me to. And when we were supposed to get like a massive investment, like we had an LOI signed for like $20 million. Like Inherence was going to be every major city. Like it was going to be a huge life change, you know? And it never came. Like, you know, lawyers got involved, all this kind of stuff. It like never came, but we, unfortunately, as a company, you know, made decisions as if it were coming. And that kind of like really like took us down. So, you know, I got to a place where I was so depressed and so like down about that I like wanted to die. Like I was just like, my dream is dead, because this was my dream, my purpose, right? It was I got to be creative, and, you know, Inherent is directly connected with the mental health nonprofit, the purpose. So I was like, I was going to be spreading the good word of men's mental health and like creating these communities everywhere. I was going to be having these stores everywhere, because the business model, you know, is connected. And so it's like, man, my purpose is about to like begin. Like I'm about to start on my journey. And man, what I realize now is that I'm always on the journey, but side note. But yeah, like I was just so depressed. And, you know, I have a spiritual director. So I have a therapist and a spiritual director. Spiritual direction is really cool. It's not like religion based. If you don't know about it, it's basically just like someone that has this really specific degree that just like asks you amazing questions and gets you to kind of change the perspective, and then also like sits in the pain or the good with you, and then helps you kind of like zoom out when you need to or zoom in when you need to. Very, very specialized thing. But yeah, Tyler Hill is my spiritual director. Amazing guy.
He's the loyal. He used to own Loyal Coffee, right?
Yeah. He's a good dude. Good buddy. But yeah, like he and I were like sitting in a session one day, and he was just like, yeah, like, so what would happen? Like, let's just go through a scenario. Like, what would happen if this like investment didn't come through? I was like, probably fucking kill myself, dude. Like, my dream is dead. Like, there's nothing to live for anymore. He's just like, wow. Like, so if you can't like do your work, you'd rather just like be dead. I was like, I think so. It's like, well, your identity is pretty damn tied to your work. I was like, no. What do you mean? He's just like, well, if you, Taylor, come to an end because Inherent can't move forward, then you're one and the same, right? And I was like, God damn you, Tyler, you're so good. But I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, just because my business and my plan and my dream doesn't look exactly like what I wanted it to, just because it's not in the Ferrari conduit, doesn't mean that I can't put it to a Toyota Corolla and still get it across the fucking finish line. You know what I mean?
Corollas last forever.
You know, just be a lot slower.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like that's when I realized I was like, man, my business doesn't stop me from being a good friend. Doesn't stop me from loving on those guys. Doesn't stop from being loved from those guys. Doesn't stop me from being a good father. It doesn't stop me from like being a community leader. Like none of that stuff, who I am, father, I like to create things. None of those things goes away if this goes away, if my business goes away. So that's how I had to start separating my identity from the business. I was like, you know what? If this can't get across the finish line looking exactly like how I want it to, I don't care anymore. Like I need to separate myself enough to be like, to release enough control to be like, what I can let go of what I've created, and it will find another way to get across the finish line. And that's when inspiration comes and redo business models for the 5th time. Like all that good stuff is like, those opportunities are always there, but you have to separate yourself and be like, no matter what happens with my business over here, I'm still going to be me at the end of the day. I'm still a good person. I'm still worthy of love. I can still love my friends. I can still be a good dad. I can still be a good boyfriend, husband, whatever. Like I'm still all of those things. No matter if I'm just naked on the street, I'm still all of those things. You can't take those things because those are me. And so once I kind of realized that, that's when I was like, cool, a bunch of doors started to open up for Inherent, and it looks a lot different from how I originally envisioned it, but the basis is still there. You know, I still get to do the things I like to do, and it's because no matter what happens with that, I know I'm going to be okay, and that's not going to change who I am. You know,
Everything seems to work out, and it's weird. I was texting with my friend last night about how my life always feels like it's simultaneously falling apart and coming together at the same time. Like there's so many things. Yeah. and it's interesting because you can get caught up in the negative when you can also get caught up in the positive, you know? And then it's like, I feel like from almost a day-to-day basis, like maybe that's just the way I'm wired. Like sometimes a weekly basis, you know, like where I'm, you know, things feel like they're really great. And then also it could be the evening and then things can feel like they're really wrong. You know, like in the morning it felt really good. And then in the evening, I don't know, maybe that's bipolar. I don't know.
No.
But yeah. But yeah,
how do you deal with that?
I'm learning to deal with it, you know? And it's just knowing that things work out, you know? Things work out no matter what, you know? Like
sounds like you're saying have faith.
Yeah. Yeah, but not faith in God, but faith in how things work out, because they're going to work out how they're going to work out, whether you like, no matter what you do, it's like you could work your hardest and then also just not even care, you know? Things will work out both differently for that, but they're going to work out how they're going to work out, you know? Like you really have no control, because if you work your hardest, it could end up being the same thing if you lived your life like not trying to do anything, you know? Like, I don't know. It's hard to navigate. These are hard thoughts, you know?
Yeah. Well, what I think you're describing is the work of letting go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, because for me, letting go takes way more work than just fucking putting your head down and working. Because letting go means you put your head down and work. You don't work any less. You don't work less hard, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like you work, but then you let it go and see how it goes. Like you step away. Like you create, you build, and then you let it go. And then whatever it turns into is what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It reminds me of the Serenity Prayer or where it's like knowing the difference between what you can control and what you can't control, and just letting go from that, you know? Like,
yeah, you can control preparation. You can control what you wear to a meeting. You can control what you say during a meeting, but the outcome of that meeting is out of your control. So why not let it go and stop worrying about it?
There's a lot of freedom in that too. Like I've always, like, whenever I enter myself into a high stakes situation, I do entertain what's the worst thing that can happen. Like when I was doing my events and festivals, there's a lot of bad things that can happen, right? And I remember, I'm more faith-based, but I remember like 3 years ago, before our 2022 festival, my girlfriend's like, we should pray for a great, attendance for the event. I'm like, I don't really care about praying about an outcome. I pray for like just having the strength to deal with whatever the hell is going to happen. Because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. That's outside my control. I just pray for myself to have like the discernment to like make the right decisions on whatever the heck it is, and just like have the strength to just be that person to weather whatever storm or how great it is, whatever it might be, whatever comes out of it, just to be there and be in the moment and make the right decisions. And so that's changed a lot of my life of just being like, okay, whatever's going to happen, like I'm always have that in my mind, like the worst outcomes. I accepted that. And like, if they do happen, I have a plan already in my head about what's going to be my step during those times. It's given me a lot of freedom and a lot less anxiety, instead of just being like, like when you're younger, you get a bad grade and you're like, I don't want to look at the report card because you're like, oh my gosh. So like, I just rather not look. It's kind of like one of those things where
Or
it's
look
like
at your bank account because you think it might be bad.
negative
don't
accounts.
Don't want to look at it at all.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been there, right? I think that's so important, just to kind of release or have the freedom of just like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'll have a plan for the worst outcomes I can foresee. And just haven't, like you said, just let it go. That's kind of how I feel when you say that.
No, totally. I think the best analogy is actually like for letting go is like a therapist, right? Like if you go to a therapist, they have to be 100% present in the moment. They have to be with you. They have to be giving you the good advice. They have to be asking the good questions. But then when you walk out the door, they got to let you go, man.
Yeah.
Like as much as they probably want to, if they're a good therapist, like text you and be like, hey, how'd that thing work out? Are you okay? They can't do that. They literally have to just, as soon as you leave their door, they're letting you go until they see you come back in.
And if they did do that, it would turn into something else. It'd be like turn into a different kind of relationship.
Right. They'd be trying to control it. Right. Like you can't have control in those situations. So like when I kind of like put that together for myself, I was like, yeah, there's so many situations like that where it's just, should I like follow up on this thing, or like, should I interject myself here? Or do I just let it go and see how it like plays out? That doesn't mean, just like a therapist, that doesn't mean you don't prepare. You don't listen to the podcasts like this amazing one. You don't do all these things, right, to prepare and make yourself smarter and grow and all these kind of things, so that when you're present in the moment with those people, they should be getting the best version of you every single time, right? But as soon as they leave, you let it go because your work is done for that moment. So it's almost like, it's not looking at it on a macro level. It's looking at it as like a moment to moment thing.
Love it, brother. I'll add one last question for you, because this hour's gone really quick, by the way. With
man,
it's always fun talking to somebody who's a friend, and I mean, the time just goes by so quick with people that we love talking to on the show.
I appreciate it.
But you were mentioning this, and like, and I kind of want to note this for you too, but like life, I feel like everybody that I've ever looked up to, as far as famous entrepreneurs or whatever it might be, like they've all had several chapters in their life for what they're known for. For example, like The Rock. I mean, he started out in WWE. Like, yeah, he's still revered about that, but then he's became an action star. Or Elon Musk, for example. Like, he had so many different things in the beginning than what he did. Like PayPal, he's like one of the folks that was involved in that. Tesla, SpaceX, or whatever it might be. Like, everybody has their own chapters. For a long time for me, it was like Marcus, the tiny house dude. Like, that's a chapter I've already turned the page on. I want to be known for more than just that. And so when you're saying like, I'm Taylor, like Taylor's bigger than all these things. I mean, these were just ideas in Taylor's head, and the best of Taylor's probably yet to come. And that makes me more excited than anything from the show. Is like, man, look what you've created in your first 40 years of life,
36.
36 years of life. Not saying you're 40, but like,
I'm not 40 yet.
Yeah. But it's unbelievable, man. And just like, if you haven't gotten this type of perspective, like you got a lot of people looking at you and just like really inspired by you. And so I just want to note that for you, bro. Like, you are
someone who's a cornerstone of our community. We're so lucky to have someone like you in our community who stays in our community. When there's probably temptations to go other places, bigger spots. I mean, you're in fashion, so I mean, there's plenty other better places to be, and we're lucky to have you. And
Thank you so
I want
much,
to note
man.
that for you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, bro.
It's very kind.
Anything else from you, bro?
No, that's been great, man. Where can people find you?
Yeah, check out Inherent Self, inherentself.org. Any social media at Inherent Self. And yeah, third Thursday. All that information is going to be on the website though. But yeah, third Thursdays, come check us out.
Website is
inherentself.org.
awesome. Well, sweet. This has been a wonderful another episode of the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.